Good morning. Thank you, and welcome to Kunzangpeo Choling. And hello to everyone online. Welcome to meditation. So, first things first, we want to just develop a proper motivation in our mind for being here today, for doing meditation together. We always want to begin by establishing this proper motivation, establishing this, generating this compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So we're generating that compassion, or we can say our bodhicitta intention before we begin a practice like this. So let's take a moment to do that now. And again, imagining that whatever virtue we generate today, that we dedicate that to the benefit of all beings. All right. So we'll do our opening prayers like we do each week. We'll do the 7-line prayer. We'll chant it 3 times in Tibetan, and I'll put it up on the screen here. Organ yugi nu chamsam, pemage sardum pula, yasun chogi no drumne, pema jungne shesudra, koryu kandro mampokor, keki jesu dag drupki, chinjilop shir sheksu sol, Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yogi Nucham Sam Pema Ge Sadom Bola Yasan Chogi No Drumne Pema June Shesudra Koru Kandro Mampokor Keki Jesu Dag Drupki Chinjilop Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yugi Nucham Sam Pema Ge Sadom Bola Yasan Chogi No Drumne Pema June Shesudra Koru Kandro Mampokor Keki Jesu Dag Drupki Chinjilop Shir Sheksu Sol Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. So in this class today, we'll be practicing 3 different types of meditation to stabilize our mind and to open our hearts. The first meditation we'll be doing is called Shamatha meditation, or calm abiding meditation. But first, like every week, we just want to go over what is meditation? Why are we doing this? Meditation is the natural state of our mind when it's relaxed, when it's stable and open. It trains our mind to be this way, calm and relaxed, yet wakeful and alert. And meditation also helps create a buffer between our action and reactions. It helps us to balance our emotions, to handle anything that life, directs towards us, anything that happens in our life, that we can uh, respond with a spacious and stable mind. So the whole point of meditation is to create more spaciousness in our mind. And we can think about how difficult in these modern times that might be, to have space in our minds, to not be consumed by fear or anxiety or just busyness, or, all of our responsibilities. Just the stress of change. And so, we can think about all the ways we try to care for our bodies. We try to feed, we try to eat the right food. We try to keep ourselves healthy. Maybe we go to the doctor regularly and take vitamins. So we're doing all these things to stay well, but how are we keeping our mind well? How are we truly giving our mind rest, giving our mind the attention it needs? So, our mind is also, just like the body, our mind is like a muscle. So we can, as we do this consistently, and as we are able to practice this in a regular way, we can see the stability of our mind strengthen, the spaciousness of our mind strengthen. So we're going to, get in our position here. We want to have a straight spine, and our hands are in our lap. So right over left, like this. It's traditional, the straight spine. And we can have our legs cross-legged on the floor, or we might be in a chair, but remember just to have your spine straight. And it might be easier to have your hands in your lap or on your thighs while you're sitting in a chair. And your eyes are going to remain open, but kind of staring or gazing down towards the floor. Almost like you're drawing a bridge, a line from the bridge of your nose down to the end of down to the floor, and resting your gaze upon that, one of those points on the line. And we're just going to be breathing naturally and putting a very fine attention on our breath. Just like a gossamer thin attention on the breath. So if our mind starts to wander, if we start to have thoughts, we're just going to gently bring our mind back to the breath again and again. So gently direct our attention back to the breath. And creating this spaciousness in our mind and this attention and awareness is also so important on the Buddhist path, because it's the first step in developing our bodhicitta, which is, again, that compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So we can't think about the welfare of beings if our minds are so busy and racing and so self-concerned. So again, we're bringing that attention back to our breath again and again. And our mouth will remain slightly open, so there will be some breath coming through the mouth. And we do this by putting the tip of our tongue on the back of our teeth. Just letting the back of our front teeth and letting some breath come in like that. So we're just going to, again, allow the thoughts, if they arise like a bubble rising to the surface of the pond, we just let that thought go. We let it pop, we let it go. Again, returning to the breath. So our breath is our focal point, or our single pointed concentration is on the breath. So we're going to warm up with this. Again, if you have thoughts arise, just know that your meditation isn't lost by having those thoughts. It's really by going down the road with them. So we don't need to inspect them or judge them or look at them. We just return our attention to the breath. So our attention is like a feather gently riding the surface of our breath. So we'll start with, again, a kind of warm up here with just a couple minutes. And it's really best to start where you are with meditation. So it's not advised to jump into a 45-minute meditation if it's your first time. So we can start with a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes and slowly build that stability over time. Okay. So we'll start with 2 minutes. And again, just try to keep our attention on our breath, starting now. All right. So, again, that was our warm up round. We're just going to go for a little longer. And if you're if you're feeling like your mind is very busy today, if you're having a hard time focusing, you can also imagine like cutting your thoughts or taking your thoughts and throwing them away. Anything that helps you come back to the breath. So we're going to do a little bit longer before I move into our second kind of meditation today. All right. Okay, so let's try that again. Starting now. All right. So now that we've created some stability in our mind, we are going to develop our hearts with these next meditations. So we're going to practice Tonglen. The practice of Tonglen, or giving and receiving, is done by it's done to develop our compassion and our ability to be present for our own suffering and the suffering of others. This practice trains us to use the energy of loving kindness to open our hearts to suffering and to transform it into well-being. So in this practice, we imagine we're taking the suffering of others into ourselves and sending them all our happiness. So this is a mental exercise. And in the immediate present, doing this meditation won't remove their suffering, but by doing this practice, we are gradually ceasing to cherish ourselves over others. So we will begin to develop a stronger wish to benefit other beings, and eventually leading to the ability to help beings with equanimity. Then you will be able to give them happiness and relieve their suffering. So again, we're in a meditation posture, and we're going to begin by envisioning one or two beings for whom you easily feel compassion, whose suffering particularly touches you. So it's easy for you to just have a well of compassion for this person. This could be a parent, a sibling, a child, a friend. It could be a pet, anyone who you feel just easily feel compassion for. So So we contemplate their suffering, their misery, their sadness, anything they might be going through, contemplating that, and we put ourselves in their place, imagining what their experience must be like and giving rise to compassion. So you cultivate in your heart the fervent wish to relieve their suffering and to secure their happiness. Then you bring your attention to your breath. So we follow the natural rhythm of your breath. So we do this by, when we breathe in, we visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke. So you imagine that they are completely free of this suffering. And as you breathe out, you visualize that you're sending them and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness. And you imagine that as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. So again, on the inhale, you might think as you breathe in, may you be free from suffering. And as you breathe out, may you be happy. So we're going to take a minute to have that visualization again, breathing in all their suffering as this dark black smoke. And then as we're breathing out, giving them all the happiness in the world as this pure, radiant light, and they are filled with joy. So we're going to do that. And you might pick one person, or you might one person and then switch to another, or two people in front of you. But just really have that clear in your mind. So we'll do this for a couple minutes. All right, setting the timer. Starting now. All right. So we're going to repeat this exercise again. Repeat this, meditating and doing Tonglen again, but we're going to try to visualize one or two people for whom we feel intense anger or aversion, maybe frustration, dislike. And again, we're doing this to expand our compassion for all beings. So even those that we have distaste for, even those we have extreme upset or anger, we slowly kind of chip away at our minds when we do this, and it really helps us grow that well of compassion in our hearts, even when it's hard to do. So we'll try this again for another 2 minutes, and again, visualizing 1 or 2 people in front of us with either anger or aversion of some sort. Okay. All right. And now we're going to expand this out to include all those who you have these similar feelings of aversion towards. So maybe it's a group of people or a situation in the world or something like that. So again, we're expanding beyond just 1 or 2 people. So we'll just do this for 1 additional minute. All right. So as our meditation deepens and our heart opens, we can gradually increase the scope of our visualization to include larger groups of people until our loving kindness and compassion embrace all beings throughout existence. And we can think, the Buddha says all beings wish to be happy. So even people that we feel maybe don't deserve our love or compassion, maybe they are doing things that are hurtful to themselves and to others, but really truly understanding that all beings are trying to be happy. Maybe they don't know how to do that. Maybe they're creating more misery and suffering for themselves and others. But at the root of it, all beings wish to be happy. So we can really use that too as our motivation, knowing that, and that understanding that all beings deserve our love and compassion. And, again, eventually that equanimity for all beings will increase. So we're going to finish today by doing the light expansion prayer. This is a guided meditation written by our teacher, Jetsunma. So we'll do that to finish. Let us become still. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. Again. Let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill all beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And all the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. And all nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is and to know union, that we are one. And with that, we will do our dedication prayers, which they're in that, there's a blue folder right there on the bench, and they're on the back side of the sheet in there. It says dedication prayers. And I'll put that up on the screen here. So we want to seal in the merit and virtue of doing this practice here today and benefit and dedicate it to all sentient beings for the benefit of all beings. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I'll ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering, may their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. So thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to those watching online. We do have meditation. Saturday meditation is at 11 a.m. and tomorrow's meditation, each Sunday we have meditation starting at 11:30. So there's an instruction with our through the blessing of our teacher Jetsunma Lamo. She's invited our resident Kempo here, Kempo Karze, to teach meditation at 11:30 on Sundays. He does a meditation and meditation instruction, a short teaching with some Q&A and a short Chinrezi practice at the end. So that's tomorrow at 11:30. If you can join here in person or online, we stream it as well. So thank you so much. I'm going to end the live stream now. Bye.